Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Uncivil Law. Hope you're having a great day. For today's stream, we're going to go through the Ethan Klein H3H3 content nuke copyright lawsuit that has been circulating the webs. And I, your favorite IP lawyer, will give you my best opinion about all the things relating to this case. So Ethan Klein is a somewhat controversial figure in his own right. Some people like him, some people don't. He's a somewhat eccentric person at times. He's interesting to some people, but controversial in some rights. But of course, his controversial aspects do not really lend to whether or not he has valid copyright claims. And so we're going to try to analyze what he said and what's going on from all the positions relating to this. So we're going to start with his video that he did explaining this. And then we're going to go into at least one of the lawsuits to show you a little bit about what's going on. And we'll kind of go from there as we do. So let's go ahead and get that set up as I reset the transition so it looks pretty. Okay. All right, so we're going to start with this video that he released 5 days ago, announcing these lawsuits and what they are and the causes of action relating to it. So we'll watch this and evaluate, give some commentary and critique. So let's go ahead and get started with this.
Hi there, my name is Ethan Klein, and my favorite hobby is spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on lawyers. Today, I invite you into my home to share my favorite pastime with you. Join me in creating generational wealth for my attorney.
Cute.
Let me tell you guys a story.
I mean, he's not wrong. Lawsuits can be very expensive. Civil lawsuits can be very expensive, depending on a whole lot of details. They can be, civil lawsuits can be, they kind of start at like $10,000. $10,000 to $20,000, kind of like as a rough estimate for where a lawsuit starts. And depending on a whole bunch of factors, how complicated discovery is, how much detail it is, how much time is required for various things, appeals, how many motions there are, how clean it is. If you want to drag out a lawsuit, it can be dragged out. If you want to be resolved relatively quickly, you can do that too. So it kind of depends on what you want to do in terms of how you want to get things through. So yeah, lawsuits start at like $10,000 and they can go up dramatically. So yeah, how much this one will cost, I suppose, depends on a whole host of details, but we'll see as we progress.
Story. About a year and a half ago, it's a big conversation called ReactGate. ReactGate was a debate going on in the streaming community about what constituted fair use. People like Hassan, XQC, and many of the large Twitch streamers would watch other creators' entire video on their stream. They would rarely add sufficient commentary or even pause the video to speak. Most egregiously, they would re-upload the entire VOD to YouTube with the same thumbnail, the same title, so that they could cannibalize traffic from the original video. Here's what Lamino had to say about this phenomenon.
I don't mind people reacting to my videos, but I do mind when they play the entirety of my video. A face cam in the corner or the occasional interruption does nothing to address that issue. Yep. My video is still being played from beginning to end in someone else's stream or video.
Facts.
It's neither ethical nor necessary to feature the entirety of someone else's work. Or, they could do the bare minimum and ask for permission.
Now, for what it's worth, the amount of the work that's taken is one of the fair use factors, right? So there are four fair use factors, and one of the factors is the amount of the work that's taken. So it's not necessarily a problem to take the entirety of the work, and it's not necessarily okay to just take a small part of the work, especially if you take what's called the heart of the work, which can get very complicated, but like the most important part of the work. So if you take the heart of the work, that can lead to problems. And so like, even if you take only like 1% or 5% or something, if it's the heart of the work, that might be a problem. And now conversely, if you take 100% of the work, it might be okay depending on what else you're doing with it. So yeah, that's only one of the fair use factors. And of course, the amount of stuff you add to it is also going to be relevant, but yeah. So all that stuff.
something that none of the major reaction channels have ever done when they've streamed or re-uploaded my videos. But to answer your question, no, I don't want people to stream or re-upload the entirety of my videos.
Now, understandably, this made a lot of people angry, because why should these content thieves essentially get more views than the author of the video, which in a lot of cases was happening? I mean, people don't like injustice, and we all see this and know it's not right. This debate culminated when XQC, one of the prime suspects, called into my show to debate me, in which case I'm sad to report that I was terribly owned.
So in that regard, do you care at all about like IP or copyright? Or like the fact that it's illegal, does that matter? That it might be illegal, does that matter to you?
No.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, if you say it doesn't matter to me at all, that's not exactly encouraging. It's like you're not even trying to address fair use. It doesn't even matter to you at all. Yeah, that's not super great for your potential liability.
Well, if flat out doesn't, because
But that's fair.
Watch me full screen cam, do the fucking worm, then watch your prime, then watch your prime content.
Do it for a week. Do a week of no reaction content and see how many fucking views you get. Oh, okay, sure.
If anyone can explain to me why they watch XQC, let me know. I don't really get it, but okay.
I mean, that's content, man. It's original content, at least.
The ultimate debate, bro. He hit him with the worm. Oh, why didn't I think of that first? I kid XQC, but he is not the one I'm suing. Despite my criticism, he's not a malicious infringer. But the ones I am suing, you'll see, are much, much worse. Now, ironically, after this debate and in the wake of this large conversation, the problem seems to have only gotten worse. You have people like Hassan Piker paving the way of fair use with what's known as chair reacts, when Hassan gets up to go to
that's
the
not
bathroom,
great.
or to eat, or to talk to his mom, or to do whatever, disappears for an extended period of time and leaves the video playing for his chair. Mr. Chair, they call it.
IDF had warned people to leave the area around the main airport in Sana'a. Then this.
Yeah, if you get up and just watch your chair do it, that's not necessarily encouraging, depending on what you're watching. So, yeah. Yeah.
This operation will result in killing hostages in captivity, will result in the death of thirds of the
Well, I've been seeing
Russia,
And it was in this setting that I formulated an idea. What if I could make a long-form, irresistible piece of content that I knew that these streamers couldn't resist, they couldn't avoid the temptation of watching it the second it was published?
I don't have an issue.
Yeah, so basically he's trying to bait them, which, yeah, you can do that. He's trying to bait them. But, I mean, it's the same analysis. Trying to bait them and giving permission is not the same thing. All right? So, yeah. It would be analogous, although the point is off, it'd be analogous to the police trying to bait someone to commit a crime to arrest them for that crime. Bait car being perhaps the most obvious example, right? We're going to leave a car out. That's a really good looking car, and we're going to leave it out, and like people will steal it, and then we're going to shut it down and then arrest them for Grand Theft Auto. Yeah, the police can do that, and you can do that too. You can bait someone into, because they're still not allowed to steal things, right? I mean, this is all like blaming the victim thing, right? Although it's not a wise thing to do, if I, get out of my car and leave the car running with the keys in and leave it unlocked and the door open and all the rest of it, and someone gets in my car and decides to drive off, well, that probably wasn't wise for me to do, but it didn't suddenly become legal. So, yeah.
It's not that I wanted these people to steal my video. It's that I knew they would. I knew they would watch the entire video, add little to no commentary, react to it instantly, giving them no time to form an opinion. The trap was set, and it worked even better than I imagined it would. We captured pretty much every large streamer reacting to it in its entirety immediately after it was published. Now, the thing is There were a few people that went above and beyond to commit copyright infringement. For example, Denim sits here silently with nearly 50,000 live viewers. That's 30.
Someone has to explain to me how these people get 50,000 live viewers. What is the magic secret? It can't be just because girl. It can't be just because girl. I mean, what is the secret to 50,000 live viewers? I don't know. Man.
Times her regular viewership. She's working directly with the Snark subreddit moderators to siphon views. And
see, that's not great either. So all these Reddit moderators are potentially looking at, well, whoever posted this thread, more to the point, not necessarily all the moderators, but this particular moderator at least is looking at secondary copyright liability for vicarious and contributory copyright liability. If you encourage someone to break the law in a civil way, right? If you encourage them to break the law in a civil way, that can lead to secondary liability. And so that puts you on the hook too. So this mod over here with all these, like, here's where you can go to find the content. Yeah, hey everyone, we've seen a lot of comments about wanting to watch Nuke without showing support for H3. Several creators have mentioned they're planning to stream their reactions in the few coming days. Here's a list of creators who support our sub either by engaging with us directly or signing their own posts and critique. If you're playing along to watch with any of them, we ask you to carry out our sub rules in those spaces too. I mean, you know, it's like, again, one of the fair use factor number 4 is market substitute, the degree to which the work is a market substitute for the original. And yeah, right. So it's like, here, I am telling you, you guys don't want to support Ethan Klein financially. You don't want to do it. No problem. These other channels are doing the entire thing. Go there instead, so you can watch it and not give money to Ethan Klein. If that isn't just like walking smack headlong into factor number 4 of the fair use analysis in the wrong direction, I don't know what is. I mean, that's just like, just please sue me, daddy, at that point. Give me a break. Damn.
Their intentions couldn't be clearer. Here's an excerpt from a stickied post from the Snark subreddit. Hey everyone, we've seen a lot of comments about wanting to watch the Nuke without showing support for H3. Here's a list of creators who have supported our sub, either by engaging with us directly or citing our post in their critique of H3. Here they're offering these streamers as market substitutes.
They
for
sure
my
are.
work. This is the cardinal sin of copyright infringement.
It sure is. Now would be a good a time as any to remind ourselves of those fair use factors. So let's go ahead and pull that up real fast, just so we can remind ourselves of the fair use factors from 17.1C107, 17 USC 107. It's a good time as any to remind ourselves of the fair use factors, the non-exclusive fair use factors, might I add. So these are 4 factors, not necessarily the only factors, but these are the ones that are going to get mentioned the most. So like number 3 is the amount and substantiality of the work used in relation to the work as a whole. So how much of the work did I use, right? Again, using 1% doesn't necessarily mean it's a get out jail free card, and using 100% isn't necessarily a problem, but like that is a factor, right? And then, of course, number 4, what we've been talking about, the effect of the use upon the potential market for or value of the copyrighted work. So to what degree are people watching what you are doing as a substitute for the original, right? And so it's like, oh, you can go here to do it instead. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's a really that's a problem.
Snark subreddit has been a frequent and persistent infringer. That's how I knew when this video came out, the Snarkers were going to encourage, promote, and push streamers to commit copyright infringement. I should thank the Snarkers actually. Because of their predictability, they acted like double agents for us, incriminating their favorite streamers and serving them up on a golden platter.
Yeah, that isn't helpful.
Thank you, Snark. It's one thing for a subreddit to admit.
And incidentally, by the way, they don't necessarily need to be in a conspiracy for the purposes of secondary liability. So conspiracy is always nice, but you don't need conspiracy, right? If these guys are just being like, hey, here's a place you can go, even if these Twitch creators are don't know about it, they still have liability for the contributory liability. So, yeah.
it's engaging in copyright.
Because they're literally contributing
But
to
how
it.
do you get the streamers themselves to admit that they're stealing content?
Well, guys, if you
I mean, I know boobs go a long way, but I mean, they're not that special. I mean, she's pretty. I date her, but you know, it's not like she's the runway model or anything. So I'm not really sure why, again, this woman is getting as many views as apparently she does, but okay.
enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe, throw a prime if you like the content, if you enjoyed your time here.
It turns out they just do it for you. You couldn't cook up a more incriminating statement if you tried. Denim's the queen of self-owning. You prevail again. There's one thing about copyright you should know is that you got to register it before you publish to be eligible for statutory damages and attorney's fees, which is the main biting force of a copyright infringement lawsuit. Well, I'm happy to tell you guys now, I, Ethan Klein, have registered Hassan Piker Content Nuke with the United States Library of Congress.
Yep. So that means he can get his statutory damages. So statutory damages start at $700 and go up to $30,000 for typical violations. And then if you can show willfulness, which these guys are looking pretty likely that they are, then you can get up to $150,000. So it starts at $750, although you can get a discount, $200, if you can show purely innocent copyright infringement, just to make our lives more complicated. So the statutory damages are $200 if purely innocent, $750 to $30,000 if normal, and then up to $150,000 if willful per violation in statutory damages. Plus, you can always get actual damages, of course, as well. But statutory damages are a lot easier to prove because they're statutory. So, yeah.
Some of you guys out there sweating? Even though theoretically I could sue a lot more creators and rake in millions of dollars, but the purpose of this is not financial gain. People like XQC and Asmongold may have watched the entire thing, but I would never sue them just for doing that. I don't want to chill the reaction community into fear. Actually, the opposite. I hope that we can all unite against this type of egregious behavior that not only makes us all look bad, but could destroy the commentary community as we know it.
Well, guys, if you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe, throw a prime.
The state of reaction content on Twitch is so broken, these creators feel comfortable looking right into a camera and saying outright, hey, I'm stealing this guy's content. Pay me instead of him. This is not a healthy environment. And with people like Hassan reacting to entire TV shows on stream, my fear is that Sony or Disney comes along, sues everybody, and sets a devastating precedent that could endanger our entire field. Now,
I mean, to be honest, I'm slightly surprised that already hasn't happened, to be honest. Maybe they can't be bothered, although Disney is not known for, like, I can't be bothered being a major consideration in their life. Disney is usually pretty aggressive on it. So why they aren't going after these people, I don't know, but they absolutely could. And there really isn't a dangerous precedent to be set, to my mind, right? Because I don't really see the parade of horribles if Disney or Sony or anyone else goes after these people for just streaming entire episodes, right? Because what is the precedent? It would just be rote application. It would be, in the end, it would be rote application of the copyright law. There's no new precedent to be had. It doesn't seem to me. So if Sony or Disney or anyone else sued, then in the end, we would just paint by numbers and it would just come out with the right answer. I don't see the danger of the precedent, but okay, whatever.
before I tell you who the three people I'm suing are, I just want to make it clear that they all met this very specific high bar of criteria that I set forth earlier. These people were not targeted based on their gender, their identity, their political beliefs. All three are on this list. In fact, they're the only three, as far as I could tell, that reacted to the full video. Drum roll, please. Who's sweating at home, guys? Casey Tron, the queen of ripping farts and bong loads.
They do musicals. They're very musical people. Are you being serious? Dog, what do you... Look! You think I made this?
Frogan.
Okay, putting aside copyright issues for a moment, woman. dude, whatever you're doing, you got to stop, man. Your lungs are rebelling against you. It is not working. So putting aside the copyright issues, maybe stop with the vaping. Lord, come on, man.
Who, bless her soul, she's still rising.
Can I walk away and use the bathroom? Do I have permission?
Permission from whom? Your chat?
Can I use the bathroom, please? I'll leave it playing.
Yeah, that's not necessarily ideal. That's not necessarily ideal.
Apparently thinks Twitch is liable for me interviewing a Yemeni teenager who's only known genocide his entire life.
What happened?
And Denim's the queen of self-owning. And my God, is she the queen of that?
It's very obvious from the way that guy's talking, he's a Sneeko fan.
Oh my God, bro, I love you. Can I give you a hug, bro?
I'm so sweaty, bro.
I love you, bro.
None of the hostages that have been released so far have said that they have been raped. The hostages have public statements. You can go look at them.
The sexual assault I experienced should never happen to any human being.
This Yemeni kid is just a Yemeni kid with a gun and is not a Houthi, and there is no proof of him being a Houthi.
Are you a soldier? Yes. That seems pretty definitive.
He never said Hassan Nasrallah was a good guy.
I can't believe I'm calling Nasrallah base. I mean, listen.
Now for the fun part. Let's take a look at the complaints, and let's start with my favorite of the three, the very own, the prestigious, the highly acclaimed, the highly analytical Casey Tron.
A lot of people have been wanting to watch this without necessarily supporting Ethan Klein.
Geez, that sounds suspiciously like she's saying I'm a market substitute. A lot of people have been wanting to watch this without supporting Ethan. Oh, geez, that sounds suspiciously like I'm offering myself up as a place they can go in lieu of them going to Ethan Klein. Don't worry, you can get it here. I have it for you. I will sell it to you. That fourth fair use factor is looking pretty dodgy right about now, ma'am.
So we're going to watch it.
Well, that's a really dumb thing to say, don't you?
Yeah, it's pretty dumb.
Why are you so comfortable? We've given each complaint a clever little title, and here's Casey Tron's. She smoked more than she spoke. Casey Tron smokes 42 times during her reaction, and just as a...
That's too many. That is just too many. Again, putting aside the copyright issues, you have a problem, ma'am.
Silly thought experiment. We thought, wouldn't it be funny if she spent more time smoking than she did talking? And thinking there was no way that that could be true. Well, we tallied them up, and lo and behold, there's 15 minutes 40 seconds of commentary versus 18 minutes and 55 seconds of smoking. She spent 3 minutes and 15 seconds longer smoking than she did talking in her quote-unquote reaction. And whatever talking she did was just to express how confused she was, presumably from smoking 42 times.
What is happening? I'm trying to follow. I've lost the plot.
The complaint continues. Indeed, Casey Tron is often too obliterated to comment on the nuke, and instead stares blankly at her computer screen. In a span of 2 hours and 7 minutes, Casey Tron smokes marijuana, frequently in highly concentrated forms through vaporizers, on 42 separate occasions. At one point, Casey Tron is so wasted that she states, quote, "What is happening? I'm trying to follow, but I've lost."
That's not great.
To give you an idea, the majority of her commentary comes down to this.
I don't understand this bit that he's doing.
He's read more books than you could ever imagine.
If this is you, seek help. Seek help. Damn.
DMs coming out of Qatar.
What the hell
You
is
kids
going
love anime, right?
You have a problem, ma'am.
More books than you could ever imagine.
Is it too late to stage an intervention?
I'm trying to follow. I've lost the plot.
They do musicals. They're very musical people. Are you being serious? Dog, what do you... Look! You think I made this? This isn't a music video, Hassan.
That does not strike me as a woman who's in the picture of health, man. All right, Lord.
And as dumb as all of that is, this is the part that really got her sued.
A lot of people have been wanting to watch this without necessarily supporting Ethan Klein.
Yeah, that's just running smack. That's just running head smack directly into fair use factor number 4. That's what that is right there.
Without necessarily supporting Ethan Klein. So we're gonna watch it. What the fuck is going on here?
Stating outright that her intention of doing this is so that people who don't want to support me can watch it through her is why copyright infringement laws exist. You could not and should not do that, especially if your commentary consists of you taking bong loads. At least try to engage with the content. Whoa, what was that? Oh, sorry. That was a flying star. It almost got me. You know her and you love her, guys. Frogan. Reaction by exiting. Here she is getting up to leave the video running as she steps out of the room. Is that transformative? I guess the judge will decide. She said, quote, "It's time to watch the new Nuke ethically." Hell yeah.
I think you don't understand what the word ethically means. Is what makes it ethical that we're not giving the views to H3? Is what makes it ethical that we are providing a market substitute so they don't have to watch it with H3? Is that what we're doing? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Huh. Very smart to say on camera, by the way. She said, quote, "Thank you guys so much. I do appreciate everyone's support. And thank you for watching it with me." Well, you are so welcome, and I'm so glad that you were able to enjoy that day. Her commentary is so non-existent that even her own fans begin to call her out.
I don't have anything to say, dude, because he's cycling the same fucking points over and over again. What more commentary do you need on him repeating the same fucking points for the whole first hour and 1 minute and 32 seconds? It's been the same shit over and over again. This video could have been condensed into 20 fucking minutes. Like, what commentary do you want me to add by, like, oh, this guy's a fucking idiot, he's mentally ill, and he's having a mental breakdown and uploaded it to fucking YouTube? Are you gonna make at least one good point? What do you want me to make a point on?
Oh, I forgot. She also said, "Can I use the bathroom, please? I'll leave it playing." You may use the bathroom, Frogan, although I don't advise it.
Can I use the bathroom, please? I'll leave it playing.
This into your stomach. And let me state the obvious. Jew and
apparently thinks Twitch is liable for me interviewing a Yemeni teenager who's only known genocide his entire life.
What happens?
Fucking talking about.
But you just pause it. That's it. You just pause the video, right? Like, you get up and you go to the bathroom. You just pause it. They should be watching for you. But if you get up to go to the bathroom and they keep watching my video, they're clearly not watching for you, right? As lazy and pathetic as her reaction is, this is not why she's getting sued. This is.
Thank you guys so much. I do appreciate everyone's support. And thank you for watching it with me. First time viewer, time to watch the Nuke ethically.
So she apparently has a running blush layers count about how much blush she's going to put on her face. That's a reward tier. That's a reward tier. I could do that. I will do it for super chats. I absolutely will. I will get myself some blush and I will do a blush on camera. Like, for every 10 super chats, I'll put on a layer of blush, and then maybe I'll just have the most blush. Yeah. I mean, you know, if that's what people want to see, they want to see Uncivil put on blush. We'll do it for the clicks, man. We'll do it. I'm in. Let's go.
Hell yeah. I found my way from Reddit. Hi guys, welcome Reddit people. Reddit people, Reddit people. I came from the H3 Snark Reddit. Ethan is so pathetic while Hassan is in Japan. I'm bothered having.
Also, she's cripping my style with that colored microphone, you know, cover. Although I have to be honest, I didn't think to go bedazzled on my microphone. So she's got that on me. I'm not really sure bedazzled is my look, but you know, for enough super chats, we could bedazzle the microphone too.
Great time, exactly. We're gonna watch it live, yes. He doesn't want people to know when it's dropping because.
Okay, 9 layers of blush may be too many layers of blush. I'm just saying. But if it's bringing in the super chats, apparently every 5 subs is 1 layer of blush. Okay, so I like this. Like, every 5 super chats, I need to go get myself some blush. Every 5 super chats of $5 or more, I put on a layer of blush. I like this plan. We'll get ourselves some. We'll go down to, you know, Sephora and get ourselves some blush for Uncivil. What color blush is best blush? We'll take recommendations.
We're all watching through other streamers, and I suggest you all watch it through other people as well.
It's the stated malicious intent to steal.
Yep.
They talk about watching ethically, but I learned not to steal when I was 5.
Up next is Denims. And honestly,
Go
just
Goth.
take a look at this, guys.
It's a nightmare on Denim Street.
Not only did she chair react, but she was kind enough to write her name right at the top just so that we knew that she was stealing my content and it was her room and nobody else's. Judge, did you know that we're on Denim Street right now? Here's some quotes from Denims. We're relying on you to stay live so we don't have to give the Nuke views. Yeah, I'm going to stream it. Since he's confirmed it's coming out today, I'm going to stream it.
Since we don't have to give the Nuke views. Again, kind of hitting that fourth fair use factor. These people need to reread the fair use factors, man.
That is very explicit.
Denim said, quote, well, guys, if you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, give me a follow, subscribe, throw it.
So not only am I a market substitute, I'm a market substitute for profit explicitly. Great. Yeah, the stupid here is pretty real. This is pretty stupid. Each donation gets you closer to goth fishnets and black hair dye. Okay. Yeah, we could do goth and civil. Lord have mercy. That's going to be interesting.
A Prime if you like my content. Your content?
The Queen of Self-Own included a countdown timer so we could tell exactly how long she was away. After being gone for a few minutes, she returns and then sits silently for another couple of minutes eating.
I'm gonna go pee, and hopefully, when I'm back, they're done with this.
Yeah, she deleted the video and edited out the statement. Oh, she deleted the video after being aware that she was being sued. She engaged in spoliation. Great. That's great. Yeah, that's good. That's definitely going to help her in her lawsuit. Yeah, after being aware that she was being sued, she then deleted the evidence. That usually goes over really well with courts. That usually helps a lot. Yeah.
All right.
You do look better.
Mr. 305. I see it.
Dude, you should do this.
I have an alternate.
We're relying on you to stay live so we don't give more views on the Nuke. Yeah, I'm gonna stream it. Since he confirmed it's coming out today, we're gonna stream it. If you want to watch it with someone else who's already watching it, come enjoy the watch party somewhere else. If you enjoyed
come enjoy it somewhere else. Yeah. Its response is 100% predicted. Number 4, and this is important, never watch the video. Yeah, so again, I'm a market substitute. Can't believe he called me dumb though. You might be a little dumb. You could be a little dumb. Yeah,
not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe, throw a prime. If you like the content, if you enjoyed your time here, because I'm going to be honest, I did not want to watch that by myself.
Let me also commercialize it by asking you to reward me financially for stealing his content. That is like...
I've got some green I could put on. I bought some green face stuff to help counter the red, but I don't really use it very much. So I could get up my green and do green blush. I mean, it'd be a little weird, but I could do it and just wind up with really high levels of green on my cheeks. I do have some green in my cabinet somewhere.
Chef kiss.
By the way, Denims had a very successful stream. She had 43,000 people watching her live. Take a look at the title of her Twitch stream. Ethan Klein Hassan Content Nuke Watch Party. A watch party? I don't think that's fair use. Now, Denims, of course, always delivering the goods. She went on this dude's podcast to debate fair use. And would you be surprised if I told you she said a lot of incriminating things in
Not
that
really.
podcast?
No.
The queen of self-own never disappoints.
I want to be clear on my opinion on filler content and stuff. I think filler content, you shouldn't do it. I know I do it as a React streamer, and I try.
You shouldn't do it, but I do it. So she's aware she shouldn't do it, but she does it anyway. She's aware she shouldn't do it, but she does it anyway. that willfulness factor looking a little dicey, man. Yeah.
I try to do it only when I do it with like Vox videos or Vice videos and stuff like that, because at least I'm not like directly ripping from one content creator and not like a whole team and stuff. And most of those videos have like 5 million views. I only get like 500 viewers. I'm taking maybe 50 views from the video. It's a lot harder to feel like, I guess, bad about that. Whereas like I would feel very
I'm only stealing a little bit, I guess. All right.
bad about doing that to like a single content creator. The majority of people say that they literally wouldn't watch Hell's Kitchen unless I was streaming it. And it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm reacting hard enough. You know, I'm sure if you click on a random part in the video, I might not be saying anything, sure, whatever. And I might walk away from the screen, but it's about like the communal thing. It's why like fucking Toast started streaming Death Note. It's not about the actual show at a certain point. It's the same reason you watch shows with your friends. You want to watch it with other people. A lot of people go to watch streamers on Twitch for their React content almost as a curator. So they don't actually want to go through YouTube themselves and watch a bunch of videos. And they probably never will go through YouTube and click a bunch of videos. They like going to Twitch because they like to have it as like, this streamer is curating fun content that I want to watch.
Like, I'm
From the people that I've talked to, the people who watch Twitch content are specifically there to watch it so they don't have to scroll through YouTube and find a video they like. If someone watches content, I already said this, if someone watches content on someone else's stream, there is a very low likelihood that they're going to go watch it separately and give you like the view or the like, or the people who are
Okay, that one was the worst, right? And of the many incriminating statements she just said, that last one was the worst, right? If they watch it here, they're unlikely to go watch it there. Again, just running headlong into Fairy's Factor 4. And she's aware of that, and she's doing it anyway. That willfulness is looking really, really dicey for her. That one was painful to the lawyer and me. That one hurt.
watching content on Twitch, curated Twitch content on Twitch, aren't necessarily people that would be watching content on YouTube.
That, my friend, is called theft, and you're a thief, and now I'm suing you. This is just a testimony to how brazen and how safe they've,
pretty bad
gotten. That she thinks she can go out on public on video and say shit like, I'm stealing this content because I want to. I'm coping, even though I know it's stealing. When people watch it with me, they're definitely not going to go watch the original.
Yep.
Like,
yeah, that one again is the worst. That one is the worst, right? It's like, because you're just hi. I'm meeting factor number 4. I just am telling you that by doing this, you are not going to watch it in the original, because why would you? Oh my Jesus Christ. What defense do you have at this point? None. Yeah, your defense is roll over and die. You weren't on good ground anyway, by the way. You were already like going to die anyway. But now that you've just basically given up the game, right? I mean, you were already using the entirety of the work. You told them that you're going to do the entirety of the work. You've already admitted that you're not adding much commentary, so you're not very transformative. And you're also admitting that I'm a substitute for the work, and you're not going to. Yeah, you're just basically like, just how big a check do you want me to write? Is it a big check or a small check? How much to pay you? That's yeah, it's not going great.
You are way too comfortable committing crimes out in the open. Well, there you have it. 3 separate lawsuits for 3 separate geniuses. Now, I want to make it clear again, and I hope it's been obvious about why I'm suing these 3 people and not others.
And by the way, of course, he's not the government, so he's under no obligation to like provide equal protection, right? Or yeah, he's not the government, so he can sue the people he wants to, as long as he has a valid cause of action. Of course, he can't sue them frivolously, which isn't a problem. But he can choose to sue and not. And it's the old the defense. It doesn't really work in criminal law either. The defense of everyone else is speeding, so you can't pull me over for speeding. That doesn't really work in criminal cases either. Hey, officer. Everyone on this interstate is going 90. Everyone's going 90. And the officer's response is, yeah, well, I pulled over you. And that's basically the right answer. It's like, well, yep, sucks to be you, right? Sorry, you're the one who draw the short straw, but everyone else is speeding. Therefore, somehow I'm not guilty of speeding. is not a thing. Everyone else went into the store and, did the flash mob and did the theft. Everyone else did too. Yeah, but we caught you. Sucks to be you, I guess. And if that's true for the government, it's even more true for him because he has no equal protection problem. So he can choose who to sue or not at his pleasure. So, no problem there. Yeah, that's fine.
These people not only violated all of the principles of fair use, they also did it maliciously. And that's the part that really got me. I think if you're a reactor on Twitch, for the most part, if you make a good faith effort to comment, and if you make a good faith effort to promote the author, to link to them, to try to drive traffic to the original video, I think you're probably pretty much doing the right thing, and that's fine. And I would never sue someone for that. Take it to these three absolute morons to state their intention to steal my property on video. You know, and to all the detractors who are saying that I'm targeting women, that I'm a hypocrite for suing for copyright infringement, I just have this to say. I don't care. What I do hope, though, is that you'll support their crowdfunding efforts to defend themselves. Because let's face it, I want to make sure there's money left over for me when I win my lawsuits. Thanks for watching, everybody. It's been a great time. I'll see you around.
Very cool. All right, that's very, very good. All right, so let's read one of these lawsuits. Oh, and then there was apparently was a response from one of them. So we need to find the response to this thing. So what should I search for to find the response to this? Because someone provided a response to it. Let's see if I can find it. Ethan reacts to Dennis's response. Okay, we can do that. We'll go for H3 podcast highlights.
Let's take a look at.
So apparently Ethan is going to react to them discussing this. All right, so let's watch this thing.
Their GoFundMe's. Let's see. Let's start with Denim. She was the first to the ball. She made a GoFundMe like before she even commented. That's why I think she was just like real quick with it. She had to make a video. She didn't make a tweet. She was first to, she was like, I need to get the money before they do.
Fair.
And she was the one who was like, by the way, I can defend myself. Thank you very much. Oopsies.
Yep.
Denims versus Ethan Klein Fair Use Lawsuit Defense Fund. She's well, to be fair to her, she's raised a little bit more than it was at. She's at almost 8,000, which is 8%.
Unbelievable.
They are. And interestingly, she was making a valid point, but then as soon as she needed them again, she went running right back into their arms. Let's take a look.
Holy shit. GoFundMe is so unbelievably fucking scummy. When I put up my GoFundMe, they sent me a letter within 2-3 days or something like that, where they said, hi, my name is blank from GoFundMe's Trust and Safety Team. I see in your fundraiser you mentioned that the donations will be refunded if the original purpose or initial purpose of the fundraiser changes. Since you've raised a significant amount of funds, instead of offering a refund if the purpose of the funds changes, are you able to consider finding an alternate use for the donations? We'd love to see the donations go to good use if possible. In similar situations, we've seen organizers repurpose donations for something that is still in the spirit of the fundraiser, e.g. related expenses, donation to charity, general support. If there's another use of the donations, let me know and I can help you update donor and offer.
Yeah. It's not as big this time.
All right, well, that was not particularly insightful, but, okay. Let's see if there's anything else out there. Ethan reacts to Frogan's response. Let's see if this one does anything.
A lot of lifting there.
What happened?
What happened? So she made a GoFundMe. Let's see where that's at. Oh,
doing pretty good.
Bills and personal expenses from lost wages. Oh, so she's.
For nearly 2 years of targeted harassment against me, Ethan Klein's now escalated and suing me. This fundraiser can illegal expenses associated with this complaint. Any counterclaims I might have against him, good luck with that. Any other bills and expenses from lost wages arising from litigation. Okay, that's fun. I was under the impression that they made like video replies or something, so that doesn't really do anything for me. All right, see if there's anything else out here. Casey Tron's response. Let's see if there's anything here.
Let's take a look at Casey Tron's, or no. Yeah, Casey Tron's was next.
Imagine having 1.2K viewers and getting yourself into a situation where you will be dead broke after. Well, joke's on you, motherfucker. I'm already broke, dumbass.
Well, you're smoking a joint. You know, you got money from the bank for that. How much, dude? You got to be spending a shitload of.
Yeah, but you know, if he gets judgment against you, he's going to seize your channels. He's going to seize your IP. He's going to seize your videos. Yeah, I mean, you know, yeah, it's like you have assets. He'll seize your GoFundMes. Any bank accounts he can find, depending on the state with the homestead exceptions and what they do or do not cover. He'll go into your house and maybe see some shit, depending. Yeah.
Come on, if you're hitting 42 volcano bags, you know.
Where you will be dead broke after. Well, joke's on you, motherfucker. I'm
Yeah, lean on bank accounts. Of course, any wages, garnishment. Yeah.
That we need.
It's happening.
Because I think Ethan will give up the charade and
I always wanted to, like, if I got judgment against somebody, I was like, I'm going to go seize their monogrammed hand towels. That's like the one item I want. In addition, of course, to anything else that they might have. But I want their monogrammed hand towels just because I'm a petty asshole. Right? I mean, they might not be worth very much, you know, on the open market because they're monogrammed. But, you know, I want their hand towels. I'll also take their other stuff too, but, you know, still.
realize exactly who he's messing with.
But, okay, I know it's coming, but the denial is unbelievable. You think I wrote up all these lawsuits for fun? Do you know how much that cost me?
You think they could be able to lose control of their YouTube channel? Sure. Yeah, possibly. Yeah, he could get judgment and he could try to do collection and potentially get that asset. Sure. Yeah. How would that work with having the email? If he were able to do it, he could just get it from YouTube directly. In that scenario, if he could get an attachment against their YouTube accounts, if the court ordered an attachment, he would go to YouTube and be like, "Hi, here's my writ of attachment. Give me the channel." And YouTube would say, "Okay, it's yours now. Congratulations." That's how that would work. Easy, no problem. Yeah.
Right.
To write 3 monster complaints?
I am nobody to be messed with. Don't mess with me. Am I serious? Yes, I'm serious. People watch this regularly. Girl, let us have our fun. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you guys, why can the incels stop coming in here and killing the vibes? Like, we're greening out right now, but tell Ethan I will debate him.
Yeah.
Oh, is he running away with
You can debate him. You can debate him in a court of law. So you want to debate Ethan Klein? You have your opportunity. You have your opportunity. There's a moderator to the debate. It's called a federal judge. Good luck.
Yeah, what are we debating?
What are we debating?
Hydroponics.
She didn't know shit about that. What's the best volcano vape?
She'd blow you out in a weed off, bro.
Honestly, I would just listen. I would just if she wants to debate weed, I would just listen.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. This is I'm like, I think it's funny. This clip was making me really laugh, but I'm also cautious because like I don't know anything about her, and
sure,
she doesn't
I don't
seem.
really either.
It doesn't seem totally like she gets. I'm sorry.
She has a big problem with you.
Yeah, why? I never even knew her.
All right, so the stupid is pretty real is what we're learning here. So I think we're done with that for now. Let's read this lawsuit, or at least one of them, and see what it has to teach us for the stupid. The stupid is real. Do not underestimate the power of the stupid is what we're learning again. Never underestimate the power of the stupid. She's stupid not to form an LLC? It wouldn't help. It wouldn't help. Because if she's the sole owner of the LLC, then, you know, well, then she's just the owner of the LLC. I'll take that too. You know, because it's an asset, right? The LLC itself is an asset. I'll take that too. And I'll take all the things owned by the LLC. I'll take all that stuff. Yeah, it wouldn't help. All right, let's take a look at this. We'll take a look at one of these complaints to get ourselves a flavor. We probably won't read it in its entirety, but we'll read a part of it. We turn our attention to TED Entertainment, which, you know, is Ethan Klein, versus Alexandra Marwa Saber. FKA means, what's FKA? It's formerly known as, I guess, formerly known as Marwa Talta Adulaman. PKA is professionally known as Demis, an individual in DOS 1 through 10. The DOS 1 through 10 will be the Reddit mods involved in the you know, vicarious liability, all that stuff. Yeah, take her OnlyFans account. Yeah, I'll take all this stuff. I'll take it all. I'll take it all. The Nightmare on Demis Street. We're relying on you to stay live so we don't have to give the Nuke views. Yeah, I'm going to stream it. Since confirmed it's coming out today, I'm going to stream it. Well, guys, if you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, give me a follow, subscribe, and throw in a prime. Yeah, yeah, this is it. Yeah. And Ethan Klein is like, I'm sure he'll mention it in his lawsuit, but of course he won a big fair use claim himself. But like, it doesn't really help these people because his fair use success in his lawsuit, when he was sued for copyright infringement, he was able to claim fair use because he added a lot of transformative value to the work. And it was done directly to criticize the work and the person and a whole lot of other things. So like, yeah, it's like the case didn't really establish new law. People cite the case, but it didn't really establish new law. Not to my mind, at least. In my mind, it was fairly like paint by numbers in the end. Carl Benjamin's lawsuit arguably created more law, but that's another issue for another day. But yeah, Ethan Klein's lawsuit that he was sued didn't really establish new law. For my money, it was kind of paint by numbers. It's like, yeah, exactly what you would expect to have happen. So, and this is also paint by numbers. It's like, it's just different numbers. So different color paint. This lawsuit is about ending the practice of lazy reaction videos that copy the entirety of work and purposely siphon videos and revenue from the original. Over 7 years, the owners of plaintiff TED Entertainment established a legal standard for fair use reaction videos. Again, I don't really know that I necessarily agree with this. Like, it's, yeah, I don't really, to my mind, it's sort of like just duh, right? But, you know, it's a valid citation. It's not like it's invalid, but it's just like, it did exactly what you would think it would do. There was no new law created by that case, at least in my humble opinion. So it's like, I don't, you know, whatever. As a genre, reaction videos vary widely in terms of purpose, structure, and to the extent which rely on potentially copyright materials. Reaction videos like the Klein video, they are spent short segments of an hour work with criticism, commentary, constitute fair use. And reaction videos that more akin to a group viewing session do not, citing footnote number 1 in that decision, because the judge was like, yeah, just to spell this out clearly so no one's confused. We're not confused, or at least I'm not confused. This case involves a group viewing session hosted by defendant. Demis specifically intended her group viewing session to siphon off views and revenue. Demis timed her group viewing sessions to coincide with the exact moment that they released the work. Her timing was intended to capitalize on the interest in the work and siphon off the maximum amount of views and revenue. The moderators of the H3 Snark subreddit heavily promoted the group viewing sessions as an alternative to the original. So again, I don't think you can go over. I don't think you necessarily can go after the moderators collectively like this, but you can definitely go after the moderator who created that post. And if other moderators had other posts, then you might be able to have to go after them too. But you're not going to be able to do this collectively. You're going to have to go after each of them individually, which, you know, maybe you can do. You can at least do it for the one. I think you're there. So I don't see a problem. I don't see a problem. It's just standard paint by numbers law. Standard vicarious contributory liability, man. It's not really, to my mind, very complicated. So we're going to see the H3 moderators, and that's going to work. As a result, the group viewing sessions, the work peaked at approximately 45,800 viewers, when a previous stream only achieved 3,300, which suggests that the work by the Reddit mods to bring attention to it was particularly successful, which goes to damages. So that's exciting. Demis greatly profited from her group viewing session of the work through advertising revenue, donations, and paid subscriptions. Like most lazy reaction views, Demis peppered her group viewing session with primarily brief and sporadic observations, which can be categorized as follows. Most frequently, Demis will watch a long, unadulterated portion and pause to give surface level and offer repetitive observations that provide little to no information, aesthetics, or understanding, citing Andy Warhol. Fair enough. Over other times, Demis' commentary has little to no critical bearing on the substance. Rather, she goes off on tangents relating unrelated subjects or shadow boxes, demonstrably false misrepresentations of content of the work. On rare occasions, when she does provide sporadic and brief commentary, she spreads misinformation that is refuted moments later by the works themselves or most cursory level research. On rare occasions, when she's actually shown the factual basis for her claim, her statements are refuted by the cited source itself. Such misinformation fails to serve the goal of entrenching knowledge. Well, that one's a little bit weak as an argument, but that's okay. Finally, Demis will even do empty chair reactions when she goes off camera for an extended period of time while letting the video play. The poverty of the commentary, coupled with her highly commercial use of the work, she specifically intends to serve as a substitute for the original. She does seem to intend that. Fails to justify copying the works in their entirety or nearly the entirety. Rather, Demis's group viewing session is a quintessential example of infringement. Yeah, this lawsuit to hold them accountable. Yeah, all those things sound right to me. And also the H3 mods accountable for contribution, material contribution, which again, no muss, no fuss here. This should be fine. This should be fine. All those things sound fine. So then we'll go through the parties, and like we mentioned the does, leave them unknown. So we're going to we provide the information we do know relating to them, and all that stuff. And interest. Yeah. So since they're contributorily liable, then they probably can be brought into this jurisdiction because the tort occurred in California, right? So Demis is Californian. So that's the location of the tort because that's where the tort occurred. And then all these people are contributory to that, which now means that they can be brought into California. So we can bypass like the minimum context analysis because they're specifically contributing to a specific thing in a specific way. So yeah, getting jurisdiction over these people shouldn't be a problem. I'm sure they'll fight over it, but they'll win in the end, I would imagine. So all that stuff, we give some stuff relating to this. Again, like the fact they're Canadian, no problem, right? Because again, the tort occurred in the United States, they're contributing to it, blah, blah, blah. Now, whether or not that judgment will be able to be, what's the word? Perfected, I think is the correct legal word, in Canada. So assuming he wins and gets judgment, he has to perfect the judgment into Canada. And I don't know the rules relating to that. But like for any American, no problem, because full faith and credit and all the rest of it. So no problem. But for the Canadian, who knows? That's an area of Canadian law that is beyond my pay grade. So we'll deal with that problem another time. Unless, of course, the Canadian has assets inside the United States, in which case I'll seize those. That'll be fine. So we talk a little bit about the parties, and we talk about copyright infringement, and then we talk about this precedent. They talk about the precedent for the case that Ethan Klein won, but the precedent is not a problem for Ethan Klein. This case does nothing to challenge the precedent. The precedent is not a problem. I'm sure they'll scream and yell about it, but they'll lose. They'll lose because at least for my money, the judge is just doing sort of paint by numbers copyright analysis. It's like, well, he used 3 minutes of like an 18-minute work. So he used, a comparatively little amount. And then he provided lots of commentary and critique relating to it, and he paused and all the rest of it, and blah 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 blah. And it was for the purposes of, you know, commentary, critique, and all the rest of it. And so Bob's your uncle, fair use, right? So I don't think the precedent is a problem. It's a non-issue. I don't see it going anywhere. Establishes things. Demis LARPs as a revolutionary from the comfort of her bedroom in California. She's a prolific purveyor of misinformation, speaks with great confidence on topics when her knowledge leaves much to be desired. Repeatedly inserts herself into public controversies by employing poor judgment, knee-jerk contrarianism, and consistent impulse to defend the indefensible, including copyright infringement, terrorism, and extremism. Well, I mean, to be fair, she has freedom of speech. So I don't know that I would really, I mean, lawsuits are, you know, allegations and shade, as Emily D. Baker would say, but I don't know that I would mention that because it's not shade relevant to what's going on here. It's like she's allowed to, in a general sense, be pro-terrorist. Freedom of speech goes a long way, man. You know? So I mean, if that's who you are, I guess, you know, you do you. Then she's a supporter of Hassan Piker, which I can't be bothered to care. Apparently, she deleted a video, but that I'm sure that they have copies of it. So we're going to go through mean things she said on stuff. She got a mention here. That's nice. Public controversies, Reactgate. Some more shade that's kind of not relevant to anything we're talking about. So we're just gonna like shit over her for a while in ways that are not really relevant to the lawsuit, which, you know, I kind of would not want to do personally, because I just want to, you know, just sort of keep it to the facts of the thing, because the facts are bad enough. I don't need to do this. I can just keep it to the facts because the facts are bad enough as they are. So I don't need to go into like what she said about other people or, you know, her views on terrorism or any of those things. So if it were me drafting this, I wouldn't include any of this stuff. But that maybe it's just me, because I don't need it, I don't want it, and I don't want to conflate the issues. It's like I don't want, you know, I just want to get to the point, you know, because the point is good enough. I don't need to dress it up, right? These are the kinds of things I would do if I had to, because I had nothing else to work with, right? If I needed to like make the lawsuit better or spicier, or if I needed to try to like, you know, augment it in some way because it's not enough on its own, right? That's what I would do. Like, for example, when I wrote that Supreme Court brief, right? In my judgment, my client's case was not enough by itself because of all the factors that go into a Supreme Court case. So in my judgment, it was not enough. So then I had to sort of, you know, buttress it by making arguments that were not, you know, in the strictest sense on point, but I had no on point arguments left. You know, I had made all my on point arguments, and I was like, this is still not enough. And so I'm like, well, I got to figure out something else to do. So I started going for the more tangential, and, you know, but that was the reason why. Here I wouldn't do it because I don't need to. The thing is bad enough as it is. So some more stuff. Okay, then we're talking a little bit about some of the things we said relating to this video. So that's a little bit more substitute for the original. So these statements are a little bit more on point. Then they talk a little bit about the background of the Snark Reddit, which I'm not sure if I can be bothered to care, because how it came into place. What do I care about? Like, why does it exist? It doesn't really matter, right? It does exist, and people are contributing in contributory liability. So again, not really sort of my bag, but, you know, you do you. So discussing various things. We're bringing Hitler into this for some reason. Rampant copyright infringement on H3 Snark. Okay, that's a little bit more on point. Reddit chat. Some random chats to show various things that we're doing. Encourages users to use YouTube as an alternative. YouTube? Okay, I never heard that one before. That's interesting. YouTube, since it doesn't play ads or contribute to view counts. What is YouTube? It's a YouTube clone that lets you watch videos without contributing to or ad revenue. Okay. All right, noted, I guess. Interesting. Okay, let's see. Tries to start, create topics, blah, blah, blah. Fights back against copyright infringement, blah, blah, blah. So some more takedown stuff that we've done in the past. So that shows that they're aware of the issue. It shows that we've done takedowns in the past. Helps to show that they're aware that we don't like it and don't want it. So that helps to go show willfulness. So that's nice. Moz issue fraudulent counter notifications. Blah, 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 blah. After Ethan became vocal about pursuing claims, it began deleting posts, comments, and accounts en masse. Again, that shows like spoliation. So that's going to be a problem for them. I'm sure Ethan made copies because he's no fool, but the spoliation goes a long way. Creates and registers the nuke. So how we came into being this thing, that's fine. The nuke itself goes through like what the video is. Again, I'm not really sure that we need to do this to like describe what the video is, but we're going to describe what the video is in detail for some reason. I'm not really sure why, but we're going to do that for a while. Are we just trying to increase our word count? I'm not sure what we're doing here, but okay. Like, it's worth noting, by the way, when I'm making these criticisms, that the US works on a notice pleading system, right? You just have to give notice. And some lawyers go into more details than others, but this seems like a lot of detail. Like, you don't need this much detail. It's not legally required. You just have to give them awareness of what you're suing over. You just have to like give them enough to understand what the basics, and then you go from there. This is a lot more than the basics. So I'm not 100% sure why we're doing it. There's no particular need to do it here. I'm not even sure it's particularly helpful to do it here, but we're doing it here for some reason. But okay. Ethan critiques a Q&A session. Concludes the session by critiquing Twiz by countdown effect as episode registration. Promotes demism as substitute. So we kind of covered that. So yes, how they did. So this goes through how the various creators, we saw this one as a mod. We saw that post. So whoever that is, Jew attorney Sarah. Is her name Sarah? I guess Sarah's in some trouble. So Jew attorney Sarah is in some trouble because we can show something she did very directly. So she's in trouble. The law of fair use, we're going to go through the factors of what fair use analysis is, which, you know, again, like we don't really need to do this here, but we could, right? Again, you don't need to do any of this in the complaint. Maybe you're trying to preempt some of this. I'm not sure how much it helps, but you know, you don't really need to do this here. You could do it in a motion to dismiss or something, but whatever. You don't, you don't, the bringing case law into the complaint, right? Like, yeah, when you're citing cases in the complaint, it's a little unusual because complaints don't need to cite cases because like you're just citing usually statutes, you know, usually you're not citing cases in a complaint. But this one is like, this one's almost like a brief, which is, okay, this is a lot of detail. I guess the lawyer gets to charge more for writing it. So we compare it to the precedent that Ethan won, and that's going to be not a problem. So we're trying to preempt some of the legal analysis from the other side. I'm not sure it's going to help, but yeah, padding fees, maybe. So group viewing sessions, some more stuff relating to that. Failed to make fair use of the nuke. So kind of do some analysis there. Okay. This goes to show like how much traffic she's getting relative to this thing, to show that like this goes to show damages. So again, you could do this at a later time, but I guess now is fine too. We're relying you to stay alive so we don't give more views to Nuke. Yeah, I'm going to. Yep. All that stuff. More statements, more incriminating statements. On 74 occasions, watch for 30 seconds or more with no commentary. 70% of its total runtime. That's not great. 70% of the total runtime without commentary is not exactly strongly encouraging. Then we're going to go through like each one of those individually for some reason, which seems a little unnecessary, but whatever. Fails to address, acknowledging failure to address, fails to address criticisms, mocks the Nuke, minimal time talking with her chat, talks about other topics, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, pressure. This is all, yeah. Again, like, I would not, again, this is a little bit like for me, I wouldn't do this. Like, why are we talking about Houthis and Israelis and stuff like that? Why are we talking about that issue? It's kind of irrelevant to anything we're talking about. Not my bag. Not my bag. So maybe I'm not the lawyer for Ethan, because my complaint would be a lot shorter, I guarantee you. A lot shorter than this, and wouldn't spell out as much detail. This is a lot. This is a lot. Like if the complaint, yeah, should be like 20 pages. It would be like, yeah, this is a lot. This could have been done in an email, as we kind of say. Brief comments. It was criticized. Again, we're talking about stuff dealing with Israel and like terrorism and who cares. You know, talking about Israel some more, no one cares. Talking about the Houthis, no one cares. We're talking about Hassan's interview with Al-Haddad, no one cares. Human Rights Watch, no one cares. UN, no one cares. Something, talking more about whatever with Israel, I can't be bothered to care. It doesn't matter. International Criminal Court, the International Criminal Court has nothing to do with this. The European Union also has nothing to do with any of this. No one cares about any of this stuff. This is just a lot of shade that I could do without. I could do without. This could be 20 pages shorter. This could be 20 pages shorter just by dumping shit. This could be 20 pages shorter just by dumping bullshit. None of this helps. None of this is useful. It doesn't do anything. It's just shade without purpose. It's a little annoying. Something anti-Zionism, something Israel, something whatever. Now finally we talk about the Nuke again for some reason. Dennis repeatedly glorifies terrorism. Okay, noted. I don't really recommend glorifying terrorism, but you can. You can be pro-terrorist if you want. You're a scumbag person, but you can. Freedom of speech allows you to be in support of terrorism in a very global way. Like if you want to like terrorism, I guess, you know, I guess, I mean, you know, you do you, I suppose, but you know, whatever. Something, whatever. Okay. Then we have the statement about not giving any views. Follow, subscribe through our Prime. Enjoy your time here. 174 occasions she receives money. We're going to get all that money for unjust enrichment. No problem. So I'm going to get all your super chats. I'm going to get all your super chats and your ad revenue from unjust enrichment. And then I'm still going to get on things on top of that. And then I might get your channel and all those things. So yeah, that's good. Yeah. And then like we go through the fair use factors, and the fourth factor is the one that's going to just kill her, because like, yep. So we can kind of skip that. Okay, direct copyright infringement. Yep, no problem. That's good cause of action. Contributory copyright infringement, at least against some of the mods. I don't know that we can get to all of them. I have my doubts, but we can at least get to some of them. We can at least get to that one person who made that one post for sure. So I don't know that we can get to all of them for contributory liability, but we can get to some of them. So, you know, fair enough. So some of these mods might get dismissed out of this thing because it's like, I have nothing to do with this thing. But yeah. And then we want, you know, profits, losses, infringement, the exact same amount, or statutory amounts, statutory damages in the amount of $150,000, reasonable attorney's fees and costs. That's going to be painful, right? The fact that he can get attorney's fees, that's going to be painful. You have to show, I forget what the standard is to get attorney's fees in this situation. I think like it's basically like it has to be really egregious to get attorney's fees. It's not an automatic thing, but he'll get it. And jury trial demand, because you always demand jury trial up front. You always demand jury trial because you can take it back later. But you have to mention for in the front. So you always ask for jury trial, even if you have no intention during a jury trial, because you can dump it later. So, yeah, this lawsuit against Demis, or whatever her name is, Demis, whatever. I can't pronounce her name. Whatever her name is, Alexandra. This lawsuit against Alexandra is solid. The lawsuit, at least against some of the mods, is solid. The lawsuit against other mods, maybe less so. So I think some of them may successfully get dismissed out of this action because you can't show that they directly contributed to this particular infringement. And I think you're going to have to show a little bit more direction. I don't think you're going to be allowed to get there through multiple different chains. So I think some of the mods will win on a motion to dismiss. Some of them will not. And our principal is going down and going down hard. That is my prediction. So against the principal, I think that this has basically a 95% chance, if not better, of surviving a motion to dismiss. It more than makes its prima facie case. It's more than correct under the case law. There really is no real defense that works. Yeah. So, no, it doesn't really work. Summary judgment? Well, summary judgment only really works if there are no facts in dispute. And so I don't know whether or not they'll dispute the facts or whether or not they'll admit to any facts. So if they just simply deny all the facts, that will preclude a summary judgment. You know, they'll preclude a successful summary judgment. If they simply deny everything, they'll have to be proven. So because, you know, you're entitled to a trial. So it depends what facts are admitted to or can be established, like beyond that no legal dispute could rise to. So a motion for summary judgment. Maybe partial. I could see a partial summary judgment relating to some elements, but not a complete summary judgment, not based on, because there's just too much here that there's some of these things you might be able to establish to, you know, that basically no reasonable juror and all the rest of it. But yeah, partial summary judgment maybe, but not complete. But I would be surprised if this goes all the way. So, but yeah, that's what I think. Am I going to stream the trial? Can't do it. It's in federal court. So no can do. No can do. No can stream. No streaming for you and me. If wishing made it so, but no. So all that stuff, man. So I don't know that I really have much more to say right now. Let me see if there's anything more for me to respond to. Thank you for the 400 of you being here, by the way. Do appreciate you spending some time with me. I had a nice little workout today. I posted my workout today in case anyone didn't notice it. Did a couple workouts. It's nice. That watch that I wanted, that Zen U1, has arrived in the United States and I think is currently being held hostage in Kentucky by UPS on a customs issue, which I'm not quite sure how that works in terms of that, because I have to pay import tax, or I have to pay, you know, what's it called? What's it called? It's not called an import tax. What's it called? It's called a tariff. That's the word I'm looking for. Yes, I have to pay the tariff. So I think it's currently being held hostage by UPS, and they sent me a form asking me to like answer some questions. I did my best, and apparently I didn't get it right. And so now the person who sent it to me, the person who sent me the watch, is supposed to fill out the form, and so forth and so on. Yeah, tariff was the word I was looking for. Yeah, so it passed customs in Alaska. It passed customs, but it's currently being held hostage, I think, in Kentucky until they get the form and figure out how much to charge me. And apparently I got the form wrong. And I don't even know how the person who sold it to me can answer some of the questions because it's unclear to me, right? So they wanted to know where the case came from. They want to know the original country of manufacture of the case, of the movement, and of the band. It's like, okay, well, the case is German steel. I know who makes it. I can actually look it up. It's German submarine steel. That's the whole point, right? So it's actually the same steel that's used in German submarines. So the name of the company that makes the seal is known, and it's a German company. So like, okay, the case is German. It's German steel. It's German manufactured, made in Germany. It's German, right? The movement is the Salida 200. It's Swiss. I'm like, it's Switzerland. Okay, that's the original country of origin of the movement. It's Switzerland. Then it's like, okay, what is the original country of manufacture of the band? I don't know. I don't even know how you would figure that out, right? It's a rubber. It's rubber. It's like there's not a lot of rubber trees in Germany, so I'm pretty sure it's not German. There's also not a lot of rubber trees in Switzerland, so it's probably not Switzerland. But like, how am I supposed to know who made the band originally? I don't know. And I don't even know that the person who sold it to me is how they're supposed to know who made it to me. I mean, it's been branded, but like who originally made it? I don't know. What country did it originally come from? I don't know. How am I supposed to figure that out? How's the person who sold it to me supposed to figure it out? How would they know? Right? The person who sold it to me isn't the manufacturer. The person who sold it to me is a watch dealer in Japan. So it's like, well, how are they supposed to know what the original country of origin is for the band? I don't know. And then the other thing they wanted to know is, what is the value of the components? I don't know. Like, and how are they supposed to know? Again, like, what is the value of the components? So it's like, well, I can look up the price of the components for brand new. So it's like, well, I can look up the price of the Salida movement. It's like $140, I think, or $160. I forget what it is, but I was like, okay, it's about $160 brand new for that movement. The band I can look up because you can buy it as a separate part. So it's like, well, that's the price of the thing for a brand new. But how much of it was? But when they sold it in the first place, it wouldn't be the same cost as the replacement band. I'm willing to bet they charge more for the replacement band than its contributory value as part of the watch. I don't know what the contributory value of part of the watch is, but it's probably cost more to buy a replacement than it cost originally. But I was like, well, I could ignore that. And then I guess anything else by definition would be the case because the three components have to equal the total value. So it's like, well, I can look up the value of the movement. I can look it up what it is new. I can look up the price. I can look up the price of the movement new. I can look up the price of the band new. And therefore, I can deduce that anything left in the price must be the cost of the case because, yeah. But then it's like, okay, what are the value of these components today? Because that's like what's on the form. Like, what are the value of the components today? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I know how much I paid for the watch in total. Like, I know how much I paid for the watch in total, and I know how much it retails for, so I could just do it as a straight percentage, right? Like, it's like, well, I paid $1,200 for it. And the thing is worth like $3,800 or something brand new. So I could be like, well, whatever 1,200 over 3,800 is, and just do a percentage. And then I could just like do the percentage and do the math. But is that actually the right answer? Is the right answer that the movement is necessarily the same ratio value compared? Is that the right answer? I don't know. I was like, how do you determine the value of the components when they're used? That assumes that they all like lost value at the same rate, which I'm not sure that's necessarily true. It's like, so how are you supposed to calculate that? I don't know. I don't know how you're supposed to calculate that. So Customs is asking me questions. I'm like, I don't know that I can answer. And I'm not even sure the person who sold it to me can answer. And I'm not even sure the manufacturer could honestly give me the answer. I mean, there's like, you know, unless there's just like a straight like percentage issue, unless it's just simply like apply a ratio, unless that's the law, which you might be, right? Maybe it's just as simple as like, well, just assume that it's uniform and don't worry about it. And maybe that's the answer, but it's like, I don't know how I'm supposed to figure this out. And I don't know how the person who sold to me is supposed to figure it out. So, and then I'm also not so sure how they're supposed to figure out what country it came from originally, the band. So if I don't know what's going on there. Yeah. So it's like this isn't really, yeah. Value is the value you paid. Yeah, but I didn't pay for the components. See, that's the problem. Like, I know how much the entire thing is worth because I paid for so the entire thing is worth $1,200. I know that answer. I know how much the entire thing is worth. I don't know how much the components are worth. I didn't pay for the components separately. I paid for it as a package. So what are the value of the components? I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. I have no idea. Don't know. Yeah, yeah. What label's on the band? I'm not sure if it is labeled. Maybe it's labeled. I haven't seen it. But I'm not sure the band itself is labeled. It would surprise me if it is. I don't think it is. So I don't know that the band itself is labeled. And I don't know that there's an original sticker. And I don't know that there was in the first place. I don't know if there was ever a sticker on it that indicated where it came from. Because why would you? Right? Why would you label like specifically where the band was made? You know, that's unless you had to, right? So I don't know, man. No de minimis rule? No, there's no de minimis rule anymore. I don't think at all. In any event, I think the de minimis is $800. So it's over the de minimis limit because I think the de minimis limit, even when there was one, was $800. And so we're over the de minimis limit. So I know the tariff is about 10%. So it's like, can I just write you guys, can I just give somebody $120 and then you'll give it to me, please? I don't know. We're having a fight over it, I guess. I don't know. The whole thing is what is the watch? It's a Zen. It's a Zen U1. It's the same watch I have now, except the real thing. This is a Chinese homage, $120. The one I bought looks basically exactly the same and cost $1,200. So we can decide whether or not that was a good purchase at another time. Was it a good purchase for me to buy a watch that looks exactly the same for 10 times the cost? We can have that debate. Although, on the plus side, I got a really good deal on it. From my point of view, I got a really good deal on it. Based on what the watch trends for and based on the condition of the watch, I got a really good deal out of it. So in the event that I change my mind and I'm like, no, this is dumb, I should be able to sell it for what I got it for, even with all these taxes and stuff. So even with the sales tax at 8.5%, because I had to pay sales tax in Texas, and even with 10% tax from the tariff, so 18.5% taxes, even with 18.5% taxes, I still should be able to sell it for basically what I got it for if I decide the whole thing is dumb. But we'll get back to you on that one. Did I see the watch Ethan was wearing in his video? It looked like a gold Royal Oak, I think. Was it a gold Royal Oak? I think so. Yeah. Yeah, so the whole thing is, yeah. Call the company. I tried calling them today and they wouldn't pick up the phone. I'll let the seller figure it out. I'll let the seller declare what it is and they can figure it out for the purposes of telling UPS what it is and whatever. So, you know, I don't know how I'm supposed to know. I also don't know how the seller's supposed to know. But they're going to tell them something. And like, I guess I'll pay the tax based on that. It was a Patek? Okay, there you go. It was Patek Philippe? Okay. All right, fair enough. You think it's real or you think it's a clone? I mean, he does have money, so it could be real. I think for me though, it's definitely Jorn or A Lang Song versus over AP or Patek Philippe. That's just me though. So like, if I had my druthers, for me it's Ace Long or Jorn, FP Jorn. Those are the watches I want. AP and PP, not necessarily my bag, but you know, if I ever get real money, that's what I'll get. Either that or I'll get a IWC Eternal Calendar, because that's just cool. Although it's like $140,000. It's a big boy too. It's 45 millimeter all dial. It's a big boy watch. But it has a perpetual calendar, and its moon phase is apparently accurate to like 13 million years or something ridiculous. So that's just wicked cool. Any chance on a catch up? Sure. Ethan Klein is suing, and Ethan Klein's going to win. Ethan Klein is suing these people for infringement. He's going to win. He's suing the H3. He's suing moderators and Reddit for infringement. Some of them will probably be dismissed. Others will not. He'll win against some of them. Some of them will probably be dismissed. There might be a partial summary judgment. In the end, he will win, and they will cry. And then they will have to pay him money and damages and attorney's fees and all that stuff. Yeah. How do I like the Supreme Court allowing Trump to shrimp illegal immigrants? I don't know. I haven't read the decision, but we could cover it in a separate case. That'd be fun. I haven't read it, so I don't have an opinion about it, but we could cover it and see what the Supreme Court exactly said on the issue. So that'd be fun. 1220 meters certified. What watch do you have that's 1220? That's a very odd thing. That's not like an even number. What watch do you have that's 1220 meters? That's just like an odd number. It's not even 1250. It's 1220. Who made that? The watch I got is 1,000 meters. So, you know, you can dive a little bit deeper than me, I guess. The U1 is 1,000 meter. Did I say Trump's motion regarding Judge Murphy quoting Sotomayor? No. The Sea Dweller? Oh, that's cool. Rolex Sea Dweller? That's neat. I didn't know that was 1220 though. Is that right? I guess I can look it up. Rolex Sea Dweller. Somewhere beneath the sea. Yeah, I guess it is 1220. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's how you learn something new. The Oyster Perpetual Sea Dweller. Ooh, 1220 meters. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's neat. Respect. All right. So Travis can dive a little bit deeper than me. He can dive a little bit deeper than me with his Rolex. So, yeah. If it ever comes up, Travis, if it ever comes up, noted. Do you have it with the Cyclops or no Cyclops? Or does it come in a no date? So do you have a date or do you have a Cyclops? How's that going on? Yeah, 1220 is a weird number. It's 4,000 feet, but it's like, that's just a weird number. Yeah. Okay. That's just weird. All right. The Tudor Pelagos I really like too. If I were going to buy like a watch like this, the Tudor Pelagos is really, really cool. The new one, the Pelagos Ultra for the 1,000 meter, it's all titanium too. And it's meta certified. So cool. It's like $6,100. Like I'd buy that watch all day long if I needed like, you know, a really nice dress watch instead of like, hey, I just get the Tudor Pelagos. Although my watch is badass. My watch is cool. My watch is better than your watch. That's what I'm going with. My watch is made out of submarine steel. My watch is made out of the same steel as submarines. It's probably going to be okay in the water. All right, there's my watch coming soon. There it is in all of its glory. The Zen U1. And the bezel's hardened. It's tegimented. The bezel's hardened steel, so it's even harder to break it. And also, the bezel has retention screws. So if you look at it from the side, the bezel has screws in it to screw it down, so that the bezel won't come off if it like gets knocked around in the ocean. It's because it's screwed down, so the bezel won't pop off. I mean, that's just cool, right? That's just wicked cool. Yeah, there you go. The Zen U1, 1,000 meters of submarine steel glory. See, it says right on the back, U-boat steel. Yeah. Ooh, very pretty, right? There it is in all of its glory. There's the band. There's the black band that it comes with. I'm just gonna pop it on a red. I'm just gonna pop it on the bracelet I have now and pop that red color because I think the red pops out. But yeah, so it's like, well, it basically looks exactly the same as my watch. So did I make a good decision or a bad decision? I don't know, man. I don't know. When I think of the Omega Seamaster Diver, that's cool too, man. I mean, you know, whatever you like. But I really like the hands on that thing. I mean, that's why I like it. I like those big chunky Lego hands, man. I mean, you don't have to worry about legibility on that watch, you know? You don't have to worry about where are the hands? I can't tell. What time is it? I think you can tell what time it is on that watch, man. I'll tell you what, man. You know? Yeah. And it's also low pressure resistant. It doesn't have a helium escape valve, but it is lower pressure resistant. So the watch doesn't have a helium escape valve because it doesn't need one. That's the key, right? It doesn't have a helium escape valve because it doesn't need one. So if you take it saturation diving, it doesn't have a helium escape because it's just low pressure resistant. So it can deal with that thing, deal with the pressure differential. Nice. Yeah, it'll be interesting to hold them side by side by comparison, I know. And then we'll decide whether or not I made a good deal or not. Yeah, I don't know. We're working on it. Yeah, but the Tudor Pelagos Ultra is like just so cool. Is it HY80? Oh, I don't know in terms of what the actual steel is. It's German steel. It's German submarine steel, so I don't know what standard they're using. But yeah. But that's just wicked cool to make a watch out of that. All right. Well, I'll let you know if my watch ever makes it my way. Yeah. The pic I share with the red band makes the hands pop and look sharp. Yeah, I agree. The red band is key. So we'll see if that shows up tomorrow. And we'll give that a shot. All right, guys. I'll let you know. I've been on Civil Law. You know where to find me on Discord if you have story ideas or whatever. Until later, my friends, I hope all is well. Cheers for now, my friends, and goodbye.